Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
VBS Mutual Bank chairperson affidavit implicates EFF Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu in taking bribes with millions of rands. This VBS Mutual Bank money heist scandal is one of the many money scandals South Africa is currently facing. And now many people are wondering, is our money safe? Can we trust the banks when they are looting from the poor and giving it to the rich? Is greed the new strategy of governing the South African economy? When is enough enough? Hello, my name is Reneilwe Morema, and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel, reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. It seems like these days South Africa has been hit with money laundering and money heist scandals. If it is not Marcus Youth who published deceptive financial statements about Steinhoff International Holdings that saw millions of South Africans lose their pension funds and investments, it is now the VBS scandal that is described as the greatest bank heist. VBS scams stretched from impoverished rural villages all the way to government circles and defrauded ordinary citizens of their pension funds, investment, educational policies, and burial societies. Already, I have a problem with high-profile rich politicians looting funds and enriching themselves. But to steal from poor people, to steal from old people that live in poverty has to be an all-time low. Politicians have now gone lower than lower. They are crawling in the pits of hell. Here's a backstory of VBS Mutual Bank for people who are not familiar with it or what the scandal is about. VBS Mutual Bank was a South African mutual bank. In 2018, it was declared insolvent and bankrupt and placed under curatorship, with South African citizens and taxpayers defrauded out of roughly 2 billion rands. It was formed as Vendor Building Society in 1982 and became a mutual bank in 1992. By 2016, the bank reportedly had around 30,000 depositors, with all deposits in the bank totaling to 800 million rand. In 2017, the bank planned to list on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. However, this was never materialized. Prior to 2014, the bank was relatively small and primarily involved in retail banking, with many of its depositors consisting of burial societies and stokvels. The bank in turn issued mortgages and short-term loans to its clients, allowing them to use their property or banking deposits as collateral. Prior to coming under curatorship in 2018, the bank gained notoriety in 2016 when it gave a 7.8 million rand loan to then President Jacob Zuma when he was ordered to repay the state for controversial improvements to his personal home state in Nkandla. In mid-2018, the South African Reserve Bank instructed municipalities to withdraw their deposits in the bank as the Municipal Finance Management Act prevented them from depositing public funds in mutual banks. This, along with mismanagement and corruption within the bank, created a liquidity crisis for the bank. The Prudential Authority filed for VBS bankruptcy at the North Gauteng High Court on 30 October 2018. On 13 November 2018, the North Gauteng High Court issued a final order to liquidate VBS Mutual Bank. The collapse of the bank had a large negative impact on the funeral industry in Limpopo province, as the bank was unable to honor insurance and burial society obligations backed by the bank. It also had a devastating impact on stokvels and saving societies held by poor, predominantly black South Africans in the Limpopo province. A 2018 report released by the South African Reserve Bank in October found evidence of wild-scale looting, fraud and corruption. It recommended that bank leadership, public officials, and auditors be criminally charged and held liable in civil proceedings. The report found that 1.8 billion rands was transferred from the bank to 53 individuals between 15 March 2015 and 17 June 2018. According to the report, 16.1 million rands of that money went to Brian Shivambu, younger brother of the economic freedom fighter senior politician Floyd Shivambu. The report also implicated the African National Congress Deputy Chairperson for Limpopo, Florence Radzilani, and Treasurer Denim Size.
Behind me is the EFF headquarters, number 119, Marshall Street, Gandhi Square, Johannesburg. This building is a symbol of the alleged VBS looting scandal that unfolded from 2017 to 2018. Millions of rands was allegedly channeled to the EFF from the VBS Bank. This very building behind me was bought with cash by the EFF in 2017 and was upgraded with millions of rands. In 2017, the EFF paid about 19 million rand for the building behind me. Only in 2020 did the EFF register a bond from a well-known South African bank on this property to the value of 22,500,000 rand. The question now is, how much of the VBS loot went into the purchase of this property and the renovations? The looters must be held accountable and face criminal charges. Justice must prevail for the countless victims of this scandal, which is old people who lost their pensions and their livelihood.
This great heist highlights how ferocious these politicians are. They are not here to look after you, but to steal from you and flaunt it in your faces. Because best believe they are looting these funds to fund their expensive lifestyles. That money that was looted was used to shower the Venda royal family, who had a 51% stake at VBS with expensive gifts worth 12 million rands. The bank's executives flew in private jets, bought expensive cars, shopped at exclusive boutiques with their wives and girlfriends in Dubai. Malema himself came under fire on social media, where people noticed that he wore a Christian Louis Vuitton shoe worth 30,000 rand. That's like $1,700 to a high-end fashion event in Durban. He responded to critics by saying he is unapologetic about the clothes he wears. Anyone that voted for the EFF voted for him. They knew he came to the EFF with his Gucci's and Louis Vuittons, and he did not purchase anything with VBS money. Listen, I am all for politicians living their private soft life and whatever, but the line that was crossed was stealing from people that live in poverty. People that invested their money for a prosperous future. These people were done wrong by the ones that claim to fight for them. As we speak, there are municipalities that have lost money. Over 1.8 billion rands of their funds from the bank was looted to fund these politicians' lifestyle. These people have deposited in this bank, and that was not even allowed because it was placed under curatorship in 2018. But these politicians, being greedy, pressured these municipalities to deposit money in the VBS Bank because they were benefiting from it. The EFF, the ANC, the KPMG auditing firm, that auditing firm that is responsible for auditing the KFC Ad Hope charity, the same KFC firing employees for not collecting enough to rent for the Ad Hope charity, that one that I did in my previous segment about KFC firing people, I told you all KPMG is a thug. The Venda royal family all benefited from this corruption, this great bank heist corruption. Dalimpofu, a former chairperson of the EFF, sat down with Newsroom Africa and disclosed that the EFF received donations from this VBS Bank, and the EFF is willing to pay back the money if there is evidence of any wrongdoing. Already that is a dodgy interview, because why did these donations have to go into the EFF MP Floyd Shivambu's brother's personal account? Why isn't there a public bank account for the EFF? This Dalimpofu interview already is incriminating the EFF because they publicly denied any association with the VBS Bank, and now they receive donations. Since now the EFF has come under fire for their connection with VBS, that time they are not even the biggest benefactors out of the 2.2 billion rand that was looted. I feel like it is just merely a political scheme to tarnish the party's reputation. But I am not advocating for them. I am saying, since the media is giving so much attention to the EFF's involvement with other parties calling for a probe into EFF's finances and arrest of their members, how about we give the same energy to the Steinhoff case and the people involved who were never arrested? The CEO of Steinhoff, the most famous person in the market, is allegedly dead, but no funeral coverage, no high-profile politicians attended the funeral. The story just went cold. The media just went mum about the story. He was ordered to pay 500 million rand, which is less than what he stole from people. And then all of a sudden, he unalived himself. He's dead.
Good evening, South Africa. Gavin Watson as well as Marcus Joster. Both of them are alive. If anybody want to challenge me on that, I'm ready for challenge. I thank you all.
Let's also give the rand manipulation conundrums the same energy. Where we got played as a country, 28 banks across the continent got together to manipulate the rand. They're still trying to persecute these banks. We are not sure how much that is going to cost us as a country. As much as I feel like we should investigate where that 16.1 million rands the EFF used, we should also investigate the 200 billion Steinhoff costed us. Also solve how banks manipulated our currency and damaged the economy and made life expensive for us while they ate billions behind the scenes. All fraud matters deserve attention, and I feel like our priorities are a bit skewed. If indeed the EFF spent the 16 million nilly-willy for their entertainment, then they must be held responsible. Just like Steinhoff directors and these banks that fixed the rent, they must all be held responsible. Let us all be fair in dealing with these matters. If we're going to be prosecuting the EFF, who did not even benefit a lot from this 2.2 billion, let us all throw in the Steinhoff, the rent manipulation. Let us all deal with these corruption, this looting corruption, this bank heist corruption. Let us all deal with it for once and for all. We are not going to nitpick which one to prosecute and which one to hang in the air in hopes that we'll forget. We will not forget. We prosecute the EFF, we prosecute the Steinhoff, we prosecute the rent manipulations by the banks. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the